Today I'm going to be showing you how to make trap. It's pretty easy and it's something I like to do other than lo-fi. It should be pretty simple and you should be able to follow along with it pretty easily. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and let's get right into the tutorial. So I'm going to start off with finding a sample. I've already found a really good one that I want to use for this trap beat. First off, I'm just going to put the BPM to 100. So I've taken this song from a Japanese artist. I'll leave the link to the full song in the description. So now we need to chop this up, and I want to find a part of the song that I can sample for the intro. And then I think I'm going to take this part from the start of the song and use that as kind of the main sample. Now we'll get into the drums. So trap drums are usually very punchy. I'm going to use this Cosmic's drum kit. What we'll do is we'll drag the kick into the channel rack. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of experimenting with the kicks. So I've got something I like, so I'm going to highlight this, press Ctrl B to duplicate it across. So now we'll move on to hi-hats. So because I'm making this at a slower BPM, if I fill each 2 steps with the hi-hats, it doesn't sound too great, it's not fast or anything like that. So literally all I'm going to do is fill all of them. If you're doing this at a high BPM, you won't have to worry about that. You can usually just right click, fill each 2 steps and you're fine. But it's just because at the moment I'm using this at a lower BPM. Now I want to change the pattern of the hi-hats because at the moment they sound very plain. So all you have to do, right click the hi-hats, piano roll, there you go. So we'll listen through and we'll try and find a spot where we think a roll could fit in. I think I want to do a roll here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these notes. I'm going to use this arrow here and drag it to the left. Now because I've shortened this, we're now missing 2 hi-hats, so you literally just have to add them back in like that. Now I want to add another roll, so I'm thinking we add another one around here-ish, like that. And I think I want a final roll right here. And now we're going to mess with the velocity a bit. The velocity is literally just how hard a note is pressed pretty much, or just how loud it is kind of. Now what we're going to do with the velocity of the rolls is we're going to make like a little slope with it. So you can do that by just clicking and holding and then dragging like that. I'm going to do it downwards instead. And I'm going to make this one go upwards and then this one go downwards like that. I'm just going to go here to snares and we're just going to find one that we like. So we found a snare, so I'm just going to start here and I'm probably just going to fill in each 8 steps. I think that sounds pretty good. So I think we're going to go on to perks next. We're just going to look through the list of perks. Now that we've got a perk, I'm going to start off here and again fill in each 8 steps. Now we can add an 808. So we'll look through and we'll find an 808 that we like. Also just turn down the volume of it a slight bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 808, go to the envelope, and turn attack all the way down, hold all the way up, decay all the way down, sustain all the way down, and release time all the way down. Now with making the 808 pattern, what I like to do is I like to go to the kicks, so right click kick, piano roll. I like to press Ctrl A, Ctrl C, copy all of it. Then close out of this. We'll make a new pattern because we're starting off on 808s now. We'll right click the 808, go to piano roll and just Ctrl V, paste it in. Now we just need to extend these all the way out. So once we've extended it all, we'll close out of this and we'll drag pattern 2 into the playlist. We'll just listen to the song and the 808 just by itself. So at the moment you can't really hear it, but we'll work on that in a bit. Now a good way to check that your 808 is in key is by opening up the pattern, highlighting the 808 and then moving them up 2 octaves. So that's in key, but the notes are very boring. We'll listen to it and then we'll move the notes around until we get something that sounds decent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like a little slide just here. If you don't know what a slide is, then just listen to this and you'll be able to hear it. So I'm going to add a little transition from this A sharp to the C sharp. So to make a slide, you just press this little slide button here, make sure it's on, or you can double click a note and turn on slide here. Now that it's in key, we can move the notes back down. Also going to turn the velocity all the way up. Now the next step is making the 808s and the drums punchy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move kick to mixer track 1, hi-hats, snares and perks to mixer track 2, and 808s to mixer track 3. We'll also just name them. Okay, let's start off with the kick. So with the kick, I like to use Diablo. I like to use Diablo as it's free and it's a really good plugin overall. So I'm going to move the punch up a bit like this. We'll put the clip to about half. That's pretty much all we need to do for Diablo. Now we'll move on to the rest of the drums. For the drums, we'll also add some Diablo. And we'll move the punch up a bit and the clip to just less than half, maybe about 30-ish. And then we can move on to the 808, a bit of EQ, and move up the bass a bit. Now we're going to sidechain the kicks. So sidechaining is pretty easy, so you just go onto kick here, you'll see this button. Click that, this will be turned up, you want to turn it all the way down. And you go to your 808, click on slot 2 and add Fruity Limiter. When you're in Fruity Limiter, you want to change sidechain to 1. Then you'll want to move your threshold, like this, and your ratio to here. Then you'll have it sidechained. If you don't know what sidechaining is, it basically means that when there's a kick, the 808 dips down in volume and then comes back up when the kick is finished. All I've done with the kicks is I've split them. To do that, you just right click the pattern and then split by channel and you'll get all these. So now what I want to do is I want to change the intro. I want to give it this old telephone effect and make the volume rise over time. So to do that, all you want to do is double click your sample, move it to a new track. So I'm going to put mine on track 4. I'm going to add a parametric EQ. Click presets here, mastering, and then old telephone. So now if we play this sample, now it's got the new effects, but we've got an issue. It does the same there. So what we're going to do about that is we're going to use automation clips. All you have to do is go to your mixer track, and right here on this mix knob, right click it, and then create automation clip. Now you've got this. All you have to do is click this here, and drag it to the left, and then we're also going to fade it out. So we're going to drag this all the way down, and then this one in the middle creates a curve. So we're just going to move that one up, like that. Like that. And we're just going to do the same with volume. So we right click this here, create automation clip, drag this all the way to the left, but this time I'm going to shift click it because otherwise you may accidentally move it up or down and change the volume. So if you shift click, it just keeps it in place while you move it. And then for this one at the start, we'll just drag this down a bit, not all the way down because we want a bit of volume at the start. Now we're almost finished. All we need to do is add a transition. I'm going to go here to crashes and add a crash. We'll add it here and we'll turn it down a bit. So now the transition sounds a lot better. Just like that. I'm just going to turn it up a bit more actually. Now we're going to add a riser. This will transition into the crash. So I'm going to go to risers here and grab a riser 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change when it starts the riser by turning the in on. That's all it does, it's when it starts pretty much. So now it just sounds so much better. And that's pretty much all you need to do. At that point, you just arrange it however you want, and that's your trap beat.